everything else is just a red herring by the accused in this case to try and push for bail. The Delhi police has also said that the material which is on record shows that this was a conspiracy to defame India on a global stage, that it wasn't just about political dissent, that the intent was to incite violence. The Delhi police has detailed the role of the accused persons in this case as well. Umar Khalid is one.
Viewers, you know the two individuals in the middle of your screens. You know them very well because their pictures, their identities have been flashed over the years very, very prominently. And they shot into the limelight in not too dissimilar fashion. Umar Khalid, accused of leading a protest in JNU against the Supreme Court judgment confirming the death sentence of Parliament attacker and Jaish terrorist Afzal Guru. The other, calling for a Chakka Jam road blockade to sever Assam and the Northeast from the rest of India during the 2020 anti-CAA protests. Somewhere, viewers, their paths crossed and they became co-conspirators. Their allegedly anti-India posturing shocked the country. Till then, the angry young man was always associated with anti-establishment ire. They were anti-establishment, real life imitations of real life Amitabh Bachchan. Nothing more sinister than that. The angry young man was never associated with subversion, and that too, subversion directed towards the breakup of the nation. But the police clearly thought that Umar Khalid, Sharjeel, Imam, and at least 3 others who were their alleged accomplices were committed to this seditious cause and booked them under the UAPA. Since then, both have been held in jail without trial for 5 years, denied bail by the High Court. Now the Supreme Court is seeking to know from law enforcement why these should be released on bail. And the police have filed a 177-page affidavit, viewers, bringing forward new charges that seem to suggest that this group of 2 plus 3 others fomented the 2020 riots, which spread like a rash across North India and, of course, viewers, exploded to devastating effect on the streets of New Delhi. That they did these to try, viewers, and attempt regime change. This claim has shocked the nation. And that, viewers, in this affidavit, and let me just read you or take you through the charges. The first one is that there's a deep-rooted conspiracy that was engineered along specifically communal lines, designed to weaponize public dissent against the Citizenship Amendment Act. And when they meant public, viewers, it was to weaponize Muslim dissent, to work them up. And this was not a spontaneous outbreak of anger on the part of a large number of Muslims. This was an attempt at organized regime change operation. Not my words, viewers. These are claimed by the police in that affidavit, that they were designed to strike at the sovereignty and integrity of India. That they were organized and calibrated violence, followed a nationwide pattern, replicated similar outbreaks in Uttar Pradesh, Assam, West Bengal, Kerala, Karnataka. You remember those times, viewers. We were all sequestered because of COVID. But the streets were on fire. People were risking their lives because they'd been whipped into a frenzy to believe that the CAA was going to disenfranchise Muslims. Viewers, it was never aimed at Indian citizens. But these people made it so, viewers. And therefore they hoped that they could destabilize government through this orchestrated campaign of calumny and violence. The specific charges against the 2 filed by the police shed some light on their alleged modus operandi. Umar Khalid ideated chakka jams for riots in Delhi. Selampur local women were induced to stockpile knives, acids to engineer riots. Give all this arsenal to able-bodied Muslim young youth men. Arranged illegal Bangladeshi women from Jahangirpuri. Sharjeel Imam conspired and engineered the first phase of Delhi riots from the 13th to the 20th of December 2019. Induced imams of local masjids to read content of pamphlets which they had written in speeches to the faithful to incite Muslims into mob violence. They set strategy for Chakka Jam in the capital, insightful speeches at Jamia Millia. Admitted in December's speech that riots were only a spark. Targeted Delhi, the capital of India, said if flyover collapses, whole world will know of it. Exhorted Jamia and JNU students to execute disruptive Chakka Jams. The charges are long against Sharjeel Imam, viewers. January 2020 speech shows that he threatened the unity, integrity and sovereignty of India. Tasked by top conspirators to raise new protest sites, the High Court has already gone into the merits on bail and ruled against any relief. The High Court said case involves complex issues, trial progressing at a natural pace, earnest efforts by the agencies to unearth alleged deep-rooted conspiracy. Hurried trial would be detrimental to rights of both sides. Seeking bail on grounds of delay and deliberate delay can't be accepted. Speedy trial is a concomitant, but systemic delay can't be ignored. The Delhi police have accused the petitioners, including Umar, Khalid, Sharjeel Imam, Miran Haidar, Gulfisha Hatima, of systematically delaying trial proceedings through what it calls quote frivolous applications unquote and quote coordinated non-cooperation unquote. According to the affidavit, the accused is engaged in quote brazen abuse of process unquote to prevent the lower court from framing charges and commencing a trial. The whole idea is to stall that process and then say that look, we are stewing in prison and the police are not being able to bring this to trial. So they've created a number of impediments, in fact even taken adjournments. And when the Chief Justice of India, Mr. D.Y. Chandrachud, was asked why he was denying bail, because bail was the norm, jail the exception, he says, it's not really me. If you really go through the case log, you will see it's them. The police will argue that the delay in proceedings was attributable to the accused themselves, just like the CGI did back in time. The affidavit described the accused's claim that the trial would not conclude soon because of 900 witnesses. And we've prepared, viewers, a summation of what the affidavit says, and let's fire that. 900 witnesses, they said, would need to be called up. Who said, viewers? The accused. Which the police say a red herring, manufactured to obtain bail, delay the cause, and then say that, look, what can we do? Clarifying that only about 100 material witnesses would be examined and that the trial could proceed swiftly if the accused cooperated. So all of this, viewers, is very well documented now by the police. It has been confirmed by the former Chief Justice of India. All these claims and charges prompt the basic question. Given the weight of the new claims, should the Supreme Court be in any hurry to grant bail to Khalid, Sharjeel and the other accused? That's the fundamental bottom line question, viewers. And let's throw this open. Let's ask some questions. We have Ravi Srivastava there with us. We have Ishkaran Bhandari, a lawyer. Now, Ishkaran Bhandari, look, let me ask you a very specific and simple question. It's been 5 years. These individuals are being held without trial. Jail is the exception. Bail is the norm. Are these people being singled out because of maybe, I don't know, they claim their identity, or maybe because there is some viciousness inherent?
Rahul, laws against terror are inherently going to be tough laws, no matter what nation you are in. When you have laws against terror activities and there is evidence, and we have to see the region also, we have seen what happened, how many regime changes have happened or attempts have happened from Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, etc. You would need to have tough terror laws. Under tough terror law, why only terror laws? Even under Narcotics Act, there is a presumption against getting bail unless the court is satisfied that prima facie case does not exist. So that is going to be a legal hurdle for any accused to face. Now, I'm not going into the merits of this case, but we know how widespread the conspiracy was. We saw people, I'm a free speech absolutist, but the only example I gave where somebody says, this is how you plan to separate chicken's neck from Bharat by getting 5 lakh people, that's an actionable plan which you are setting out. That is not free speech. That is a guideline of how to manufacture a bomb or how to separate or segregate parts of India. So that cannot be purely a WhatsApp chat or a free speech for a person like Sharjeel Imam. For people who are involved in what chat they did, how they told people, did they tell people to organize and have stones on the roof case and throw stones? Stone can be a deadly weapon also. So all that depends on what will come out in the trial. The law is against somebody getting bail very early. The factor in their favor, frankly, is 5 years. 5 years is a significant length of time, which of course they will try to argue. But the Delhi High Court, which is the last order we have before us, says how the adjournments were sought by the accused themselves. So if you delay the trial yourself, you cannot get the benefit of delay. Supposing they were wanting the trial to proceed, but the prosecution was delaying, then I would say they would have a fit case. But you withdraw the case from Supreme Court, you do forum hunting, you take adjournments in the court, you file unnecessary applications, then can you benefit by delay? That is something which the Supreme Court will need to decide in this case.
But very quickly, Mr. Bhandari, why would they be doing this? Why would they be delaying their own trial in the sense? Wouldn't they want exoneration? They claim there is no evidence, there is no proof. Wouldn't you want your name cleared as quick as possible?
Rahul, it's an unfortunate reality. Very often people delay trial because they feel, for one, if they feel they have a very tough case to deal with, they believe after they delay it for sufficient length, it might become a ground for bail. That is why they appeal everything. So it's better to be out on bail than to be convicted, right? So that's one reason. The other reason, very often, which we unfortunately have to admit, people try to wait to get a particular bench before they argue. That's a reality in the litigation area, and you can't deny those realities. So why an accused delays it? Very often it is because you know you have a tough case with length of incarceration. It becomes a ground for bail, and you may come out earlier by delaying trial rather than facing a full trial, which might result in conviction.
Okay. Let me bring in Ravi Srivastavaji. Ravi Srivastavaji, you've heard a lawyer's perspective on this. And he says that in this particular case, exception can be made because the charges are grave. And that the section of the law under which these people have been booked is not conditioned for providing early bail. So let us not try to impugn motives against the judiciary or the system, suggesting that it has been at some level or the other cannibalized by the executive, that they're all dancing to the tune of the executive, etc., etc. And India has become an autocracy and so forth. That's what he's saying. How do you respond to this?
Good evening, Rahul. I would call this whole case is a real travesty of justice. We have to see it separately. Case is going on, the trial is going on in the lower court, which has taken already more than 5 years. It is on. This is only a bail application filed before the Honorable Supreme Court. And on 27, the Honorable Supreme Court said that we want to put it in order right now. Why you have not submitted the counter affidavit yet? They told to the Delhi police. The Delhi police, represented by the AG there, Mr. Raju, said that we want 2 weeks more for submitting the counter affidavit. The court forced them. You have to submit it within a day or two. And they were forced to submit it today, that 177 pages. Now, I don't go by those lofty words, the conspiracy, the regime change, the intellectual architect. These are all nonsense and have got no meaning till they are supported by incontrovertible evidences. The lower court, in the beginning of the trial, the IO, when they submitted a report, the court had observed there were fictitious charges were made, fabricated evidences were brought in. The police made themselves the FIRs. Such were the observations. This is such a flimsy case which will not stand even a week in the court.
Why do you then, fair enough, why do you then believe that the Delhi High Court came and said the case involves complex issues, trial progressing at a natural pace, and that hurried trial would be detrimental to the rights of both, and earnest efforts by agencies to unearth alleged deep-rooted conspiracy So they are suggesting that there is a lot of smoke here, and that's because there is fire.
They have also made one more observation. The prima facie the charges are grave. They have written it.
Yes.
Again, I am saying that these are all lofty words only.
Why would a court, sir, no, hang on, just a minute. Why would a court want to go to the extent of using hyperbole to prejudice the minds of the public, let alone anyone else? Why would they do that, sir? What is their incentive?
The matter is now in the Supreme Court.
No, I'm asking you. You've said these are lofty words. Why would the court be using lofty words? Just a simple question to you.
They do it. They
No,
do
why?
it. This has not happened here. I just bring you a parallel.
No, hang on. Let me ask you a question. When Narendra Modi or when Nupur Sharma, when things were said about Narendra Modi and Nupur Sharma, you believed them. You didn't say these are lofty words that are said in the heat of the moment by judges who are prone to playing to the gallery. None of that was said. But in this matter, you are very, hang on. In this matter, you're being very cavalier.
Was right on the video.
Huh, what?
Nupur Sharma, what she said was right
Sir,
on the video.
that is not for you to interpret. Excuse
No, I'm
me.
not interpreting
This was
that.
also the speech that was given by, no, one second, the speech that was given by Sharjeel Imam was on video. Everyone could hear it. It wasn't exactly a closed door secret.
I say let it be proved that
No, I'm just saying, sir, please don't be selective in applying. No, don't be selective in applying your arguments. I'm saying be at least consistent.
Against the war, against the state.
You will choose to believe. Okay, fair enough. You will choose to believe obita dicta, viewers. They will choose to believe obita dicta when it suits them. At that time, they won't say this is hyperbole. Anyhow, let me just bring in Shadat Poonawala. There's also Abhijit Iyer Mitra.
Liquor case, 8 months, there is no date even. It was such a case, every third day the trial was happening.
Now viewers, the suggestion is that the courts themselves are part of a conspiracy to fix these people. Okay, well, let me get in Shadat Poonawala to respond on the more fundamental aspects of this case, which is Ravi Srivastava claiming bias, claiming that the courts are prejudiced. How do you respond to that?
No, the same Ravi Srivastava, when the courts give a verdict on electoral bonds, when the court gives a verdict on Chandigarh, that time they are hailing the courts. But when
What's the comparison?
Says, now, Mr. Rahul, I have waited 12 minutes.
Raviji, let him finish.
No, what is
you can, Raviji, let him finish, please. Okay, Raviji, please, I'll have to lower your fader. Don't do this tonight.
That's all.
I'm counting till 3.
If something was good,
You can come back and respond to him. I'm counting till 3. Otherwise, I'm lowering your fader. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Shadat Poonawala.
When the courts don't even come to a conclusion that Narendra Modi was involved in the Gujarat riots, Mr. Modi is still involved in the Gujarat riots. But when the courts come up with a categorical finding, their central role has been played in the conspiracy of the Delhi riots by Umar Khalid, that he is a mastermind, that Tahir Hussain was a mastermind, that Sharjeel Imam made the incendiary speeches like cutting off the chicken's neck and cutting off Northeast from India, and that was the reason for which 5 years they have been denied bail. Then they are raising the questions on the court. This is the double standards of Ravi Srivastava and his entire ecosystem. Point number 2, I want to just ask that today these disclosures have proven one thing, that these riots were not organic, they were organized. They were not spontaneous, they were sponsored. And they were not for any principle of CAA, because nobody has lost their citizenship in CAA. No Muslim has lost, but it was actually for the rule, it was for the power that this was being orchestrated across the country. And therefore, you can say that the toolkit that we have seen in Sri Lanka or in Bangladesh, actually it was being tried in India first. But now my real question is only this, that who are the ones who are defending these characters and hailing them as Nelson Mandela? Digvijay Singh hailed Umar Khalid. Mr. Sanjay Singh said that Tahir Hussain innocent is being blamed because he's a Muslim, and Sharjeel Imam was defended by the Congress ecosystem. I just have 2 simple questions of Ravi Srivastava. One, that Tahir Hussain was in the Aam Aadmi Party and Aam Aadmi Party defended him. Why? Because they wanted to engineer regime change through Tahir Hussain. Point number 2, that please tell me that Sharjeel Imam said Northeast must be chopped off from India. Do you stand with this statement or are you against this statement?
I'll ask him that. Just 1 second. I'll ask him that. But, Shadat Poonawala, I just want to make one point. I think you mentioned the word proved, that these charges prove. Now, there is no proof right now, viewers. Yes, there are allegations that have been made. They will be tested against the weight of evidence once the trial begins. So, right now, these are allegations. At least we should be clear of the legal facts.
I didn't say for this context. I didn't say in this context. I think maybe there's a communication. I didn't say in this context. I am saying that Narendra Modi, even though he has got a clean sheet from the highest court, is proven to be guilty.
Is proven to be.
And here the observations or findings are there, then they are not proven to be guilty. Great.
I get it. I get it. So Ravi Srivastava, now you need to respond, sir. The political establishment has already given them a clean sheet. On what basis? Bias? Motivated bias?
I'll start with Tahir Hussain first, the councillor. I distinctly recall that during that trial, during that riot, Mr. Kapil Mishra was putting his hand on the DCP's shoulders and making the statements. And there was this Goli Maro and all those kind of provocative statements were made by none other than the member parliaments there. And now I come to Tahir Hussain. Tahir Hussain's roof, I saw the reputed channels reporter touching that bottle. इसमें petrol bomb रखा हुआ था. If the petrol bomb रखा हुआ था, what is doing here? This was kind of the botched up
Sir, please.
investigation.
Don't be an armchair. Don't be an armchair analyst sitting in Bombay. You have somehow transported yourself to the rooftop of Tahir Hussein's building. Come on. We have seen, those are the pictures. Okay, one second. So where did all these petrol bombs come from? Anyhow, very quickly, Shadad Punara, a quick response that look.
No, Rahul, I'll just use one line because Abhijit has to speak. Actually, Mr. Ravi Srivastava consumed the version of LKFC, Lutyens fact checker. Don't think anything else. Lutyens fact checker had said that Mr. Tahir Hussain was actually trying to engineer peace, even though there were petrol bombs on his terrace. So I think Mr. Ravi Srivastava has just consumed too much of LKFC's tweets.
LKFC? LKFC?
Lutyens fact checker, sir. Lutyens.
Okay, is it a handle or something? I'm not very certain about this. What is
now this? You see, there are many of these bears and bulls.
No, BJP has to do some kind of a comedy. It's a comedy.
It's not a comedy. He's talking about some individual that you are taking at face value. Yes, Mr. Iyer Mitra. Look, at the fundamental, this case is dragged on for 5 years. No resolution. No fundamental trial is beginning. We don't know. Innuendo rages, says the ecosystem, say people like Mr. And you just heard him, and that's why we have him, Mr. Srivastava, aligned very closely to the AAP and so on and so forth. You know what I'm talking about. So, are we looking bad in the process?
So two things. To answer your first question, LKFC is a certain jihadi individual based in Bangalore who claims to be a fact checker but is in fact a jihadi who's responsible and has the blood of 13 people on his hands, including one WhatsApp live murder that happened on TV where a man was had his throat slit thanks to this LKFC the throat was slit live on WhatsApp because of riots that man triggered. Number one. Number two, I think, I come down, I'm a free speech absolutist. See, we need to separate the case for bail from guilt. Bail is based on three things. The gravity of the crime, the possibility of interference in an investigation, and third, the possibility of escaping justice. Now, on one, Umar Khalid is definitely highly suspicious. The gravity of the crimes is very, very serious. But on 2 and 3, it is, I don't know what the answer to those are. That is a decision the court has to take. I would err on the side of bail because I don't believe people should be kept in jail till they are found guilty. I also want to point out, Rahul, prosecutions in this country are very notorious. Just yesterday, the Allahabad High Court acquitted people for attack on CRPF, citing prosecutorial conduct, a lack of evidence. Even in this case, just a few months back, on the 16th of May, the Delhi High Court acquitted 11 men who had been accused of arson and things like that in this case. The Delhi police's ability to screw up even a fantastic case is legendary. I won't take them too seriously mostly, but given the high profile of this case, maybe it will. Let us also separate Umar Khalid from Sharjeel Imam. Sharjeel Imam, even by Mr. Ravi Srivastava's own she was on video saying that. Well, he was caught on video saying that. And that unfortunately, whether Mr. Ravi Srivastava likes it or not, also contradicts the American gold standard for incitement, which is specific threat against a specific target. Specific threat was what? Chakka jam against a specific target, which was the chicken's neck, which is the Siliguri corridor. Right. So we need to separate these two cases. I would personally say that yes, Umar Khalid deserves bail, not Sharjeel Imam, because it is on video. It is quite this thing.
Okay.
Other people can disagree.
Okay, so let me on that point. Yes, I think Shahzad Poonawala wants to make a quick intervention. I want to bring in the lawyer's perspective right after.
I don't have any bone to pick with Abhijit because he has same standards for every case. But having said that, you just asked this Mr. Srivastava, when Sadhvi Pragya was being tortured and there was not a shred of evidence against her, she was convicted terrorist as per Rahul Gandhi. And today she has been acquitted. She's still a terrorist for these people. And Umar Khalid is being denied bail by the courts. Then he is the ambassador of peace. वो क्या बोलते हैं? Peace का he's the वो एक शांति दूत है. तो Ravi Srivastava, please tell me that is Sadhvi Pragya terrorist and Umar Khalid is Shanti Doot.
Would you like to respond? Would you like to respond? Ravi Srivastava, would you like to respond to what is being said?
Rahul, first of all, I personally dislike my name being taken. They can say a co-panelist. I dislike it. The second thing is...
Your parents have named you.
Pragya
Why are you ashamed of
was a terror accused and given a ticket for parliament from the BJP. I don't need lectures from such party.
Okay. Look, one second. Let me just bring in Ishkan Bhandari on this point. Ishkan Bhandari, look, the question will be before the Supreme Court in the next few days. What do you think the Supreme Court should do? Abhijit Iyer Mitra is trying to make a distinction, saying that one should get bail, the other one should be denied bail. Will the same principle be applied equally, or can you actually differentiate their cases, or should... Look, many people have said this, that the Supreme Court is given to playing to the galleries. They have become past masters at virtue signaling. I don't have to jog your memory back. There was an incident, there was backlash. Do you feel that the Supreme Court is inclined towards perhaps bail in this particular matter?
Rahul, I am not going to hazard a guess on what the Supreme Court will do. I can speak on the law as I see it. As to whether Supreme Court faces attacks, it faces attacks from all sides, left, right, center. You have a Ram Mandir judgment, one side will attack it. You have some other judgment, some other side will attack it. That is neither here nor there. In democracy, till a limit, people can say anything they want to say. So now coming to the case, I agree with my friend Abhijit, but to a degree. What the tests he gave are for normal general criminal law. They do not apply to special enactments. This is a case under a special enactment where there are certain presumptions because you're dealing with terror offenses. You're not dealing with somebody stealing somebody's wallet. So the law is completely different on that. Now coming to the other aspect, the very simple test is what Sharjeel Imam said, if carried out, would it be imminent danger? If 5 lakh people got together on that road, did a chakka jam, would it amount to a significant danger to the territorial integrity of India? The short answer is yes. If what plan you are setting out, supposing you as a part of free speech say do A, B, C, D, E, and then you will have a very potent bomb made. That is not free speech, that is a part of a terrorist activity. Same way, this design to my mind is a clear part of terrorist activity because if carried out, it will result in significant damage to the territorial integrity of India. But going whether one case can be separated from other, yes, as a matter of law, every individual has to answer a case against him.
Okay, so even if it's a common conspiracy allegedly. Okay, fair enough.
From the role of a person who
fair
has a more...
Okay.
But I do not know the merits of the case to be able to answer this.
Viewers, whatever you might say, there are now compelling new claims that have been made. How they will weave into this larger case remains to be seen. It's not going to be a cakewalk. Just when we thought that perhaps the courts will be inclined, the Delhi police is putting up stiff resistance by bringing to the fore an affidavit with a lot more facts, they claim. Let's move on, viewers, because there's a very, very important story which really hits at the heart of identity. And it needs to be looked at very closely because it concerns a very delicate part of our country, the Northeast. At a time when the Northeast has become really a ledge on which, viewers, hangs the sovereignty of this country, there is a malevolent government, a regime, call it what you want to, in Bangladesh, and that area is sandwiched by China in the north and other maladroit viewers in the extreme east. But viewers, that hasn't stopped, for example, certain people to play with fire. At a Congress event in Assam's Barak Valley, which is of course dominated by Bengali-speaking Assamese and others, a very senior veteran party leader of the Congress sang Amar Sonar Bangla, the same hymn Bangladesh adopted as its national anthem. And that has hit and touched a raw nerve, because in Assam, context matters. This is a state where identity, migration, and language define politics. For many Assamese, the song wasn't just music, it was a loaded message, a reminder of their own cultural and demographic anxieties, which spring forth because they see themselves as becoming increasingly marginal in their own state, so they say. And I'm talking about the Assamese speaking Assamese. And viewers, their reaction was an angry one. Assam's chief minister called the Congress Act, quote, performative chauvinism, unquote, even a, quote, breach of sovereignty, unquote. Himanta Biswa Sharma said the performance of Bangladesh's national anthem instead of India's in Sri Bhumi is a blatant disrespect to the people of India and its national anthem. It is also in line with the new claim of various Bangladeshi people that eventually the Northeast will become part of Bangladesh. We see the recitation of Bangladesh's national anthem by the Congress District Committee as an endorsement of that claim, unquote. And he's pressing sedition charges. The Congress viewers on the other side of the fence has decided to brazen it out. They're justifying this. And they're accusing the BJP of disrespecting Tagore, his legacy, and through them, Bengalis as a whole. Gaurav Gogoi, the Assam Congress chief, who's aspiring to be the chief minister and will be perhaps one of the key aspirants to that job when the elections come around in the next 6 months or so, viewers, has said, and I quote, "It's a song composed by Rabindranath Tagore and conveys the sentiments of Bengali culture. The BJP has always insulted the Bengali language, Bengali culture, and the people of Bengal. Their IT cell has also insulted people of Bengal in the past. They have shown in ignorance by not knowing the history of Rabindranath Tagore," unquote. The Congress isn't wrong when it says Amar Sonar Bangla was penned by Tagore. Yes, to that extent they are right. But there was another hymn composed by Tagore too, and that went on to become India's national anthem. Couldn't the Congress have sung that if it was paying homage to Bharat's poet laureate? Remember, viewers, these facts. Amar Sonar Bangla, written in 1905 during the Swadeshi movement as a reaction to then the British attempt to divide Bengal in that particular year. It became the national anthem of Bangladesh after its independence in 1971. But Jana Gana Mana, this was originally part of a longer song, for Bharata Bhagyo Vidhata. It was adopted as the national anthem of India on January 24, 1950. At a time when identity is contested in Assam, the Congress, many Assamese speakers think, has struck the wrong note. Besides, the irony runs deep. In Tamil Nadu, for example, where the DMK rails against Hindi, the Congress stays silent. No talk there of shared culture and so forth. But in Assam, suddenly, it preaches inclusivity. Why does cultural pride demand restraint in Chennai, but celebration in Silchar or somewhere else, viewers, in Assam? And when Assamese voices express hurt, they are branded Sanghi. Is that pluralism or is that hypocrisy? Let's open this up. This is a very interesting conversation, viewers. And I have packed this panel tonight with some very learned individuals. I want to first begin with Kanchan Gupta, who's a senior advisor to the INB Ministry, the proud Bengali himself. There's Upamanyu Hazarika, senior advocate of the Supreme Court and head of one-man commission appointed by the Supreme Court on the Indo-Bangladesh boundary issue. There is also, of course, Tuhin Sinha, Mr. Iyer Mitra, and of course the incomparable Professor Monojit Mondol from Bengal. So I want to first begin with Mr. Kanchan Gupta. Sir, the charge against the BJP is, and against many people including me, is that we are insulting the people of Bengal. The BJP specifically is doing so because it is suggesting that a hymn that is dear to them is by extension today anti-national. How do you respond to this, sir?
Thank you, Rahul, for inviting me to this discussion. This has nothing to do with Bengal. This has nothing to do with the people of Bengal. It has nothing to do with Bengali culture or Bengali language. People who are saying that are either ignorant or they are doing it with a political malice in their mind. I have no clue, and I don't think anybody in the Congress seriously has a clue as to why the local Sevadal chief suddenly got up and started singing Amar Shonar Bangla in a place like Barak Valley, which has a sizable and a very large Bengali population of Sylheti origin. And there has been, over the decades, there has been a certain understanding, accord which has been reached between the Assamese and the Sylhetis, and they live in harmony. Now, was this an attempt to disturb that harmony and try to reap political benefits out of it? That is a question that one must look into. Number two, only an idiot and an ignoramus would say that Amar Shonar Bangla is just a Tagore song and it can be sung anywhere and everywhere, just like that. It's like saying that because Jana Gana Mana is a Tagore song. Actually, it's a 6-stanza song. It can be sung anywhere and everywhere without any context, without any reference, because it's a Tagore song. So that doesn't wash at all. And I'm sorry to say this on your show, but I can say this in front of him. Gaurav Gogoi just doesn't know what he is talking about, which is I'm not surprised by that because he is a very ill-informed person. And the last point which I would like to make is that there is, as you have mentioned in your post and your comment today, there is a larger context, a larger political context to this. Now, they have gone ahead and sung Amar Shonar Bangla, which is the national anthem of Bangladesh, at least till now. Whether it will remain the national anthem of Bangladesh, one doesn't know. But they have gone ahead and done it at a time when Muhammad Yunus, the usurper of power in Bangladesh, has sort of taken politics back to a time to the time of Maulana Bhasani, who came up with this ridiculous theory of Lebensraum that the Bangladeshis need living space, and it is their natural right and their natural space to go and occupy India's northeastern states. And people who are talking about the issue today and saying, oh, there is nothing to worry about, there is nothing more to it, they should go back home and do some homework. They should read about Maulana Bhasani's politics, his long march from Bangladesh, what was then East Pakistan, and how it had to be stopped and what happened subsequently.
Okay.
The last point which I would like to make, recently some army general from Pakistan called General Mirza was in Dhaka. And we have seen a photograph of his meeting with Muhammad Yunus being published in the Bangladeshi media. Now it shows Yunus gifting General Mirza a book as a memento.
Yes.
And the book's cover says, it shows the northeastern part of India as part of Bangladesh, And the title of the book is very interestingly called "The Act of Triumph." Now, Yunus himself, from various forums, I mean, including Bangladesh-China meeting in Beijing, and then separately from other forums in Bangladesh, has talked in a manner as if the northeastern part of India belongs to them and is a part of the geography of Bangladesh, which is wrong.
Let me then bring in Professor Mondor, because you heard Kanchan Gupta, proud Bengali. He's setting a context here. I think Professor Mondor, he claims that those people who are trying to suggest that yes, the song might be an emotion, but to suggest that it is for all Bengalis, this, that, the other, without context, is, I mean, his words, being idiotic. Would you like to respond, Professor Mondor? Not to that, of course, epithet. He didn't direct it at you. I'm just generally saying that it is ill-informed, ignorant.
I do not really want to dignify the comment made by a very senior person, though. He might be a Bengali. I'm not sure whether he's aware of the context in which this particular song was created, way back during the first partition of Bengal. It talked about Bengal. Bangladesh was definitely not in existence at that point of time. In fact, we the Bengalis proudly sing this song every other day without keeping in mind that this is a song which has been appropriated by Bangladesh government. This is about Bengal. This is about Bengalis. Amar sonar Bangla ami tomaye bhalobashi. Tomar akash, tomar batash, amar prane bajay bashi. If you understand Bengali, I think two panelists understand Bengali, if not three. They will understand that how emotively this song connects with Bengali culture, whether it is in Bengal, whether it is in Assam or anywhere else in the country where Bengali population live. Forget about Bangladesh. Bangladesh appropriated the song in 1971 because they also thought that it is quite fitting for their culture and their heritage. And that's why they proudly recognize Tagore as their national poet. Whether you will remain national poet or not, but in fact, I would appreciate the fact that even the Prime Minister of the country, when he comes to Bengal for campaigning, he also sings the same song, Amar Sunar Bangla. Home Minister, though in a very different kind of inflected Bengali, said that Tagore ka Sunar Bangla, he says that Sunar Bangla ko Kangal Bangla bana. So he also in a way, gives tribute to Tagore. But when it was sung by a Congress old person in Assam, you are slapping a case on him.
No, one second. I'll tell you the reason.
I'm proudly singing the song on your show.
No, you can. I'm just saying. Sir, look, it's a free country.
Written by
I
one
understand.
of the greatest sons
So I just
of
want
the
to
world,
ask you,
and
you
the
said,
second
look,
most
just one
important
second.
son in
The context,
country,
please, sir.
Tagore,
I think what...
And I'll continue to sing it
Yes.
proudly so.
I just want to ask you a counter question. Would you like to take that? Because what Mr. Kanchan Gupta is saying is that there is a context. When you sit in Assam, in the Barak Valley, where there are, according to him, Sylheti Bengalis, and then you sing, you are actually singing a hymn to the concept of a greater Bangladesh or a greater Bengal. So you are making two people insecure, Bangladeshis as well as Bengalis, Assamese speaking Assamese. So this is an insult. This is the context he's talking about. You can't sit in Barak Valley and pretend that the context doesn't exist. It might be different, sir, in Bengal. That's what I'm saying.
Let's have a sensible debate. I'll respond to that.
Yeah, of course.
If this is the case that because of the singing of the song, Bangladesh might take over northeastern country, then why is your government supplying power to Bangladesh?
No, sir, that's a different issue. Please, let's not confuse issues.
Can I finish?
Now you're not being serious. Yeah.
No. I'm very serious. Then please declare Bangladesh as your enemy country. Just because here and there some fringe elements are going round, they are marching to Kolkata and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Declare Bangladesh as an enemy country.
Okay.
Just stop giving them the power.
Let me bring in the Assamese. Let me bring in the Assamese. Okay, let me bring in the Assamese angle to this. Upamanyu Hazarika is here with us. Mr. Hazarika, why in Assam, amongst Assamese speaking Assamese, there is resentment? Why aren't you seeing it just like the Bengalis are seeing it as this great celebration of a great emotion? Are you being parochial? Are you being petty?
no question of parochialism, no question of pettiness. You sing the Bangladeshi national anthem in Assam, it is deemed to be anti-national, and for three very simple reasons. First, what you had is a huge influx and
No, now let
aggression
him
from
speak.
Bangladesh.
Professor, please let him. This is not fair. No one interrupted you, sir. Nobody.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I gave you all the time. Let him now finish. Yeah.
Because we've had a huge influx of Bangladeshis into Assam. And the demographic projection, because I had put in a report in the Supreme Court 10 years back, where I had mentioned that according to other estimates, that between 2040 to 2051, we become a Bangladeshi Muslim majority state. Because you see, migrants from Bangladesh are largely Muslim. And therefore, and since we do not have any nationality-based kind of demography in the census studies, so it is only by religion. So, but the Bangladeshi origin Muslims today are 31 out of the 126 MLAs in the Assam Assembly. We had the NRC. The NRC is run aground because there were various discrepancies. The assessment was that there was a government assessment repeatedly was that there were 50 to 80 lakh people who ought to have been excluded. That didn't happen. 19 lakh got excluded in the NRC, which is far short of the estimates and actual numbers which are there on the ground. And even then, they have not been deprived, they have not been sent back. So today, we are in a situation where we are becoming, as Professor Mandal said, it's not a question of Bangladeshi attacking us. The Bangladeshis have already come and they are going to become a majority in Assam. And once they take over Assam, they've captured the entire northeast.
Okay.
And this goes back historically. Historically, this is more than 100 years old. The Muslim League during the British times coveted Assam. Thereafter, Jinnah wanted it. Even just General Sinha in his famous report to the central government in 1998 quoted Sheikh Mujibur Rahman as saying that how the natural resources of Assam was what was prerequisite for Bangladesh's growth.
So what you're saying is that by invoking these so-called emotions, you are playing to a particular gallery of individuals who are already marginalizing the Assamese-speaking Assamese. That's what you're saying.
And you see the whole thing, therefore, what we need is because we've been having discussions on this core for the last 10, 15 years. Now the NRC process is completed. The NRC has run aground because there are a lot of discrepancies. A lot of people in the border district have got it because they have subverted. But there's a solution to it, and the solution is very simple. That most of the NRC records are digitized. They are all out there. So re-verification is not difficult at all. So what you need to do is because you see, when it is imminent that we are going to become a minority, and that is not one study alone. That is 3 studies independently carried out, that between 2040 to 2051, Assamese or indigenous communities in Assam will become a minority.
Okay, so you can't be encouraging, what you're saying is you can't be playing into the hands of those who are by design
Absolutely.
changing the demography of Assam to suit it and actually militate against the indigenous Assamese-speaking Ahomi. Okay, let's.
So we need to get the solution is therefore we need to get the NRC moving. To get the NRC.
Those solutions we are not going into. I'm just asking you, why is it that the Assamese are feeling, at least the Assamese-speaking Ahomi is feeling extremely today enraged? Okay, let's open this up. Abhijit Iyer Mitra and Tuin Sinha. Mr. Mitra, very quickly to you, on the point that Professor Mondal is making. Look, Bengalis have a right over Mr. Tagore just as about anyone else does. And they have perhaps a specific right because they have an emotional tie.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. You see, the issue is I as an individual can even sing Pak Sarzameen Shadbad out here on this program. It won't make a difference. But Kanchanda singing the same as a government representative or a representative of a party singing this is a completely different thing because it has extraterritorial and ultranational connotations. Pak Sarzameen Shadbad would come under that category. Amar Shonar Bangla, Professor Mondal is right. It represents a unified Bengal at a time when even Bihar was part of it. So technically, what the INC has done is he has now claimed parts of Bihar should be joined to Bengal. It is an attack on Biharis. He wants Bihar to be divided because remember, most of what is today Bihar was part of undivided Bengal. So there are lots of connotations to this. In fact, the BJP can use this very well in the Bihar elections as well. But I'm not surprised that the INC is doing this. They are notorious for playing this kind of divide and rule politics because they're the true inheritors of the Muslim League. Why are we surprised with this at all?
Okay.
Let us understand the context in which this was done. This was very specifically targeted at the Sylheti Muslim. And Gaurav Gogoi is the last person. Gaurav Gogoi isn't even Bengali. How can he talk about Bengali culture? I am a Bengali. I can talk about it. I don't go around waxing eloquent about Assamese culture. I mean, if you want, the most I can do is give you a recipe or masor tenga or gahori with bamboo shoot. Other than that, I am not going to get into Assamese culture at all. It is not my ambit.
Okay, that's interesting. Tuin Sinha, you're the BJP national spokesperson. The Chief Minister of Assam, as you know, is going to file sedition charge. I don't know whether that will stand or not. That's a different question. But he's quite enraged. And they are saying, we dare you, the Bengal unit of your party, to come out and support the Chief Minister.
Well, Rahul, as I had mentioned to you on your show, the place where this entire thing happened, where the song of Bangladesh national anthem was sung, definitely raises a lot of questions. Tagore had composed 2232, approximately 2,232 songs for Vidhu Prasad, or the Congress leader, to latch on to one song at a place where Assamese people are in a linguistic minority, are battling illegal migration for the last several decades. And their future is at stake. Definitely reeks of malified and notorious intent. And the way Gaurav Gogoi has come out in support of it clearly shows that the entire Congress party is complicit in it. But if you look at if you need to take it in a larger context. In the last few months, the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma has been on an overdrive against illegal migrants. He has invoked Immigrants Act 1950. He has, in certain places where the ethnic minority is particularly vulnerable, he has given the permission for use of arms. In this situation, the Congress party has made its support for illegal migrants crystal clear. And I think that is the broader context. They are supporting the greater Bangladesh sinister plan because it also coincides with, some elements close to the establishment in Bangladesh peddling a fallacious Indian map which shows certain parts of Northeast as belonging to Bangladesh. The Congress seems to be complicit in all of these malified agenda.
Okay, quick one. Professor Mondol, last word with Kanchan Gupta. Yes.
I'm really surprised that today you are talking about this song. Tomorrow you can say that Tagore should be denounced because he is also appropriated by Bangladesh.
Okay, so let me ask that question. Let me ask that question.
Logic is this?
Okay,
Mr. The song can be sung anywhere in the country.
Okay, one second. Two responses coming in. Mr. Mondol is saying tomorrow you will say that let's cancel Tagore.
In fact,
okay,
he's the only Bengali who is remembered every day.
Yeah, Rahul,
yes.
can I just come in
Kanchan
for a
Gupta
second,
respond,
please?
Rahul,
I
got it. Kanchan Gupta, respond to him. Yes.
I think it's extremely devious to just try and make it into an issue of Tagore and Rabindranath Tagore at that, and say that it is about pride in Tagore, about Tagore. I really find that very, very surprising because had there been such great faith in Tagore, in the Tagorean ideals, West Bengal would have been a different place today. It isn't. Yes, Number two, as Abhijit points out, that Amar Sonar Bangla was written in a particular time, in a particular context. It was written as part of Tagore's own contribution to the anti-partition movement of 1905.
True.
And at that time, they did not want a vivisection of Bengal into East Bengal and Bengal. That means the Muslim majority area would go into the eastern part and the non-Muslim area would remain over here. Now, that would have also formalized almost all of West Bengal we know today as part of East Bengal, which thankfully never happened. And the last point which I would like to make, that the Bengal which Tagore wrote about, or the movement against the partition of Bengal in 1905, A large part of that Bengal also had Orissa in it.
Yes.
A large part of Bengal had southern Bihar in it.
True.
A large part of Bengal had a lot of north.
So the Congress
parts to it.
sending out a call from Assam.
Are these people suggesting that we should go ahead and appropriate all these places?
Well, playing with ethnic
what
sensitivities.
Kind of Bengali pride is this?
Well, there you go. Playing with ethnic sensitivities in the Northeast, viewers, is like playing with fire. This is what I'm saying. It's already a roiled part of our country. There are opportunists waiting for weakness. This is not good. Seriously not good. I'll leave it at this, viewers. There has been, of course, a close call in Mumbai. Children were taken hostage, but somehow extricated from that conundrum, viewers, because of the police acting very, very quickly to free them from their, as you can see, that individual there on your screens, from their person who took them, the kidnapper. Eventually, there was a gunfight, and this individual was killed. He sent out a chilling message saying that he wanted to have a larger engagement. He's a YouTuber, wanted to have a larger engagement. He managed to attract the kids by saying that I'm holding an audition in this building for a part in some show that he was curating. He got them in there, and you can see some of those children leaning up against the walls, trying to bang the windows, attracting attention to their predicament. Luckily, viewers, this ended without the loss of lives of any of the children. This man engaged the police. He died from a gunshot wound in hospital. I'll leave it at this.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
We've accessed excerpts from Delhi Police's 177-page affidavit that is filed in the Supreme Court in the 2020 Delhi riots case. In its submission, the Delhi Police has opposed the bail pleas of the main accused, Umar, Khalid and Sharjeel, Imam, calling the defence's claim of 900 witnesses a red herring. The police have stated that only about 100 witnesses are material to this particular trial. The affidavit indicates a well-coordinated plan that's aimed at creating unrest and shaping a global narrative on the Citizenship Amendment Act. According to the document, details of which we've accessed, the police believe that the intent was not limited to political dissent, but to incite violence in a patterned manner. It details the role of several accused, including Umar, Khalid and Sharjeel, Imam, citing statements and digital evidence which is under investigation. The police have also said that similar pattern of violence was witnessed in other states and that there was a concerted effort that was made by these individuals for a regime change in the country.
Massive disclosure has been made before the courts. Delhi riot 2020, which was an anti-Hindu riot. It was a riot to target the Hindus of Delhi. Umar, Khalid, Sharjeel, Imam, his statements about cutting off the chicken neck, or the likes of Tahir Hussain, they were defended by the ecosystem of Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and Samajwadi Party, RJD, Mahagathbandhan, Indie Alliance. Now the court has given them no relief and no bail for months on end, years on end. And the reason is because they were having anti-India and anti-Hindu agenda, which has been exposed. Today, the Congress ecosystem, which was defending them, which puts vote bank niti above Rashtra niti, should answer why do they stand with these anti-India plotters.
Now, sources have told CNN News 18 that the submissions made by the Delhi police in this 177-page affidavit is that the process of being filed in response to, that the affidavit is still in process of being filed. This is in response to the bail pleas of the two accused, including Umar, Khalid and Sharjeel, Imam. As far as the police's line of argument is concerned, investigators have pieced together documentary and technical evidence to show that these riots were the result of deep-rooted conspiracy that was engineered along communal lines. That the plan was designed to weaponize public dissent against the Citizenship Amendment Act, that it wasn't a sudden outpouring of anger. The Delhi police is telling the Supreme Court that the violence that rocked the national capital in 2020 was not a spontaneous outbreak, but part of an organized regime change operation that was aimed to undermine India's sovereignty. The police are also claiming that this organized and calibrated violence followed a nationwide pattern. It wasn't limited just to the national capital, and that similar outbreaks were replicated in other states like Assam, West Bengal and Uttar Pradesh. It also aimed at destabilizing the government through orchestrated violence, and that really was the aim of these two accused, is what the Delhi police claims. There are more revelations as part of this affidavit that CNN News 18 has accessed, excerpts of which show that the claim that the defense has been making, that 900 witnesses were brought in by the police, that claim is nothing but a red herring just for the accused to buy time. The Delhi police have gone on record to say that there are only 100 witnesses that have to be examined, and everything else is just a red herring by the accused in this case to try and push for bail. The Delhi police has also said that the material which is on record shows that this was a conspiracy to defame India on a global stage, that it wasn't just about political dissent, that the intent